So far this year, calving season has actually gone really well, but about a week ago, we did finally have our first casualty of the year. But it didn't happen in the way that you might expect. At the beginning of the month, my wife and I were out here checking cows, and we noticed that one of the cows was acting sort of strange, and she had some bloody discharge coming out of the back of her. She was acting as if she was the mother of another calf that I know was already several weeks old. I've seen this before where they get that hormone rush and they have that mothering instinct kick in to hide gear, and they don't have a calf to take care of. A lot of times they will kind of try to adopt another one that's already out here. I thought there was a very slight chance that she might have a calf that night, as I've seen that before as well, when they start, you know, getting that mothering instinct, and then they will go into labor later on. But the bloody discharge was not a good sign. And the next morning, my fears were confirmed. As I pulled out here the next morning, there was a pack of buzzards in the middle of the pasture. They're chewing on something, but it didn't look like a calf, or at least not what I was expecting to see. As I got closer, I realized what had happened is that the cow had had a stillbirth, or in the livestock industry, we refer to this as she aborted. The premature calf, the very premature calf, was out here in the middle of the pasture. Upon finding that, I was able to piece together a string of clues that I've gotten throughout the year that only now just all make sense. And I can fairly certainly determine that this cow's got some reproductive issues. And because of that, and the fact that she will not be raising a calf this year, I've decided to cull her out of the herd. I know that might not be a popular decision with many, but today we're gonna catch her, get her loaded up, and I'll talk a little bit more about why this is what I've come to. That's what's going on today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. I just went up and checked in the catch corral, and there's a few cattle in there already, so I'm hoping that kind of helps my cause here. You guys might remember a couple weeks ago I had to pull a cow out of here because she kept escaping, and trying to get her up into that catch corral when no other animals were up in there became quite the rodeo. So I'm hoping that we avoid that this time, and there's enough cattle kind of all along the route that we need to take to get there that I'm hoping this goes a little bit smoother. This red cow here is the one we're after, number 50, and you can see she's standing next to that calf licking on it, but that's not her calf. I know for a fact that calf belongs to, I believe, number 49, the other red cow standing on the other side of the fence looking on intently like, what are you doing with my baby? Well, this doesn't seem to be going well, and I think I need to try a different strategy. She will not leave that calf, and I know a lot of people are gonna think, well, what if that really is hers? Trust me, it's not. I know for a fact it belongs to that other cow. How come the one you want won't follow you like that? No! Yeah! All right, so we got the one we want, the calf that she thinks is hers, and the actual mother of the calf. So we'll try to catch them here in the little corral, and then I'll be able to separate her off of the trio there. All right, we got her caught, and I'm just leaving the other cow and the calf in the pen there with her. I'm leaving them all together until I get back with the trailer, because I suspect that if I was to try to make her stay in there by herself, that by the time I got back with the trailer, she would not be in there anymore. Cattle don't like to be locked up alone, and especially if they, in this case, think they're separated from their calf, it would be all the worse. So we'll just leave them in there. It's only gonna take a few minutes to run and grab the trailer, and I'll be back to get her. You're who I don't need. Shh. 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 You're who I don't need. She's gonna go on the trailer, watch. Dummy. I really don't need both of you. How are we gonna do this? Do that? There we go. No. You have to go that way. Feel like summer? That other cow just bound and determined to stay in that trailer. That was kind of a funny thing. Usually you give them the option to run back out and they take it, but she had to think twice. Well, the weather has sure flipped, and I don't know if you guys can hear in the background, but Callie is panting up a storm. So we're gonna go take a walk out in the pasture. I want to check on the grass, see what it's doing, and then that way you won't have to listen to her pant in the camera. Well, things are definitely starting to wake up out here, which is a very welcome sight. I'm hoping by maybe within a week or at the end of a week that we can transition from a mostly hay diet to a mostly grass diet. And if you've noticed my hay supply in the barn, I'm not gonna have much choice. We're kind of gonna have to do that, but it's looking like that will probably work out. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about cull cows and reasons why I might choose to get rid of a cow, and this one specifically, because this is really a different circumstance that I don't think has come up since I've had this channel. So if we go back to, had to be right before the bulls left, I noticed an aborted calf out in the field. It was very small. It was probably only like 3 inches long. I don't remember why, but at the time I do remember thinking or suspecting that it had come from number 50. Now at that time the bulls were still in, so I wasn't too worried about it, and I wasn't completely sure that it came from her, so I thought, well, hopefully whoever it came from the bulls had a chance to get her back. Jump forward to present time, and the aborted calf that I found out in the field was actually very small. I would say about the size of a house cat, somewhere around there. And I would estimate that that fetus was probably somewhere around, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, somewhere in there. So it kind of stands to reason that whoever aborted the calf back in late summer is probably the same cow that aborted it just now, because the cow that aborted back in the summertime would have been bred very late, like this cow obviously was. So from all of this information, what I can kind of piece together is that number 50 is having some fertility issues, or at least having trouble maintaining her pregnancy. And whenever this is the case, I will first look at what I'm doing and try to determine if there's something or some mistake that I've made that would have caused this. But in this case, she's the only one having problems. All of the other cattle that have the same opportunities to feed and minerals and nutrition and all that stuff, the same environment, they're all on an equal playing field. She's having problems, the rest of them are not. Sometimes fertility issues could be traced back to the bulls, but there again, if it was a bull issue, it would be more than just one cow that was affected. Remember, 2 bulls do all of the breeding for the entire herd. So if one of the bulls was having a problem, it would show up in a lot more than just one cow. Now let's say that I was to keep her, and this breeding season she breeds fine, and next calving season she has her calf, no problems. Well, I also have to remember that this is a business, and from a business standpoint, it's not very smart to keep that cow, because even if she does successfully have a calf next year, that's basically like a break-even calf, because it's going to make up for the one that she lost this year. And what makes up for all the time and the money that I have into her for this calving season that I'm not going to get anything back from. I've gotten comments in the past where people say things like, oh, you just care about the money, the animals don't mean anything to you. That's not true. In fact, getting rid of cull cows is always kind of a tough thing for me, because in a small herd, you get to know these animals. I mean, they've all got numbered ear tags, but honestly, I don't need the numbers to be able to tell them apart. I know them. The reality is, though, that while profitability is not everything, it is a big thing, because without it, really none of this can exist. Then when you factor in the fact that my hay supply is basically down to fumes, I just really cannot afford to keep cattle like that aren't going to give me anything back. That's just the truth of it. And a little side note, anybody that accuses any rancher of only being in it for the money, well, they've really shown their level of ignorance. There's a lot easier and more lucrative ways to make money than this. It's about a lot more than that. I know that most of you understand all that, and some people don't understand it, and they never will. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.